Welcome to Decoded Stories with the Code, where I sit down with tech professionals, creatives, and innovators to decode their stories behind their journeys. Like the ones you never get a chance to hear of. I am your host, Nyamiche Honor. What's up, bro?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I'm good, man. Good to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
Welcome
finally.
Yes, sir. We're here. It's an honor to have you on the podcast, bro.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get started. So I have some questions for you. It's a fun segment. So is this or that, right? So once I give you this or that, give me the first thing that comes off top of your head.
Okay.
All right. You ready? You sure?
Yeah.
Let's get it. All right. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Being invisible or being able to time travel? Make it quick. Let's go.
Being invisible.
Being invisible?
Mhm.
Why?
I mean, being invincible, you could be doing a lot of things without people seeing you.
Oh, so you're trying to do some criminal activity. Okay. So winter or summer?
Winter.
Winter? Why winter?
I don't like heat.
It'd be cold in winter, bro.
I'd rather take that.
Okay. So music while working or working in silence?
Soft music.
Like lo-fi?
Yeah, soft music, soft in the background.
Okay.
Keeps your mind running.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Working from home or in the office? This is a hot topic right here, but go ahead. Look.
My whole life, I've had to go in the office.
Okay.
But I think I do enjoy working from home. But
Okay.
but I would say I do enjoy hybrid. Because
So you like hybrid?
hybrid, that's kind of my situation. But
So when you say hybrid, you talking about like once a week? Because 4 days out of the week going to office, that's hybrid.
yeah.
Right. So do you like what is a good hybrid balance?
So for me personally, I don't want to have a specific 3 days in office and 2 days off or something like that. But hybrid in the sense that you on call whenever you're needed, you just go in.
Okay.
But mainly remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Are you an early riser or you're a night owl?
Early riser.
Now, are you a text kind of guy or call?
I'll probably say more of a call because even if I'm texting somebody, normally I would use WhatsApp, but I'll normally just send an audio. But then even calling, I'll always text people first.
So this is the last one: Mac or PC?
Mac. Come on, man.
So talk to me about people. Talk to me about that because you're in security, right? And I know that most security professionals they're doing PC just because Mac. They said there's a lot of blockers and a lot of security. So talk to me a bit about that. Like why, as a security analyst,
if you're in security and Mac is secured, you should be happy about that, right?
Okay.
Windows you have to deal with a lot. Mac has all kinds of security functions that you could utilize, and all kinds. It does make things hard for you, but at the very least, it limits you to have a dedicated workflow.
Okay.
Whereas on the Windows side, you would have to. It's broad, right?
Okay.
You can have all kinds of workflows, but Mac kind of limits you to a workflow, and that. To me, I think it's fine for me because if I'm an Apple person, I'm a Mac person, it doesn't disturb me in any way, shape, or form.
All right, so let's get right into it. Talk to the people. So let's start by this. Who is Einstein? What do you like to do even outside of work? Like, give me a little spiel of yourself.
So, for me personally, I'm first off a God-fearing young man, right?
Yes, sir.
I come from a family that loves God, a family that is devoted to the things of God, and Christ is the foundation for my family. And Christ has been an example to me. At a young age, lost my dad, so I've been fatherless ever since age 2. My father died when I was like 2 years old. In a car wreck.
Wow.
So for me personally, I've lived my whole life without having a father, so I've had to lean onto God because that's the only person my mom showed me.
Yeah.
Because when I saw other people with their fathers being there for them, I played football at a young age.
Okay.
So playing football, seeing fathers bringing their kids to camps and all that, that was hurting me because I didn't have anybody. And I had always go out at it the long way. You fathers were dropping off their children. I was walking, you know, and it was a tough journey, but I learned to trust and rely on God. So for me personally, I'm a God fearing young man because I've come to be one with God. That even though I don't have a father, He is my earthly father and my heavenly father, and He shows me the way. And I say all this to say anything that I do in life, He is my provider and He makes everything possible for me. Even with where I am today and where life is going at today, it is all because of, my father, know. So that's a little about me. I love music. I am a technical guy, so I like a lot of technology. Um, I have a recording studio. So I like to record people and do things with sound and that kind of thing. So and I'm a cybersecurity specialist, specifically as a tier three security engineer. With a background of SOC.
Okay.
But that's a little about me that I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into, I guess, the your background specifically in security and IT. So you mentioned your security analyst, right?
Yeah.
Engineer. Okay. Is there because is there a difference between a security engineer and a security analyst?
Yeah.
Because I know that sometimes the titles can be used interchangeably. But how, like, give me some more information about that.
Okay, so put it this way. So if you're an analyst, right, you may be reviewing reports, you may be reviewing certain alerts and stuff like that. The question that you're going to ask yourself is, how do I get those alerts?
Okay.
How do I get those reports? That's where the engineer comes in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So some people might say systems engineer,
Okay.
or some people may say systems specialist, whatever. They have all kinds of titles, but systems engineer is normally what you would hear. So as an analyst, you are doing a lot of analysis and a lot of, the level of what an analyst role will require. And that is kind of more of like a lower tier support where you are just reviewing reports, you're reviewing alerts, you are investigating alarms and that kind of thing. And as an engineer, you are more like fine tuning these alerts. You are fine tuning these reports. You are generating these reports so the analysts can see it. You are actually assigning roles and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, they all work together.
Okay.
But, an engineer makes sure that everything's flowing for the analyst. And the analyst also make sure that whatever support that they are providing from an analysis standpoint, they are also doing at that level.
So you mentioned football, you mentioned studio music, audio, right? How did IT fit in the mix?
Yeah, so basically, with a sports background, played sports in college at a college level.
Okay.
And of course, as a young gentleman, you are aspiring to be in the NFL. Everybody's like, "Man, you're gonna make the NFL,"
Yes, yeah,
and you're excited about that,
yes,
right?
sir.
But because of my Christian faith, I always knew whether football was the path for me or football was not the path for me. I always knew that God had a plan for me, regardless of the fact. So, out of college, I got into coaching because I wanted to give back to the young ones. I was a freshman head football coach and also running backs coach for the varsity team.
Okay.
And I was supporting in that efforts with, helping to build the next generation of athletes that have the good foundation before they enter into college. So pretty much that was the background that I had. I had a sports background, and I also studied sports management. So of course, coming out, you are thinking you're gonna do something with preparation or events management. It's something with sports or sports management, facility management or anything like that. But that wasn't the route. I got into physical security, right? So I got into physical security, and luckily for me, I always was like, man, this security thing you're talking about, am I gonna get shot or what? But people always like, when I saw people that do security, I just thought about guns. And I was like, can I even do this? But luckily for me, my first opportunity that came was with it was at a Microsoft building, right? Okay. And when I went out, for the sake of keeping things private, I'm not going to say the company's name. But, when I went to this company, I worked there for maybe a couple months, and I basically got in a situation where I was sleeping. And on the job? On the job. Woo. And then the next morning, I guess the supervisor was standing there. It's a glass door where you can see through. So I guess I was sleeping, and people were just walking through, and I wasn't seeing them because I was knocked out. And then the supervisor came and kept knocking at the door. And according to him, he was there for a good 10, 15 minutes. And you were still knocked out? And I was still knocked out without opening the door, So,
and this is at Microsoft.
And this was at a Microsoft building, but this one is overnight, so nobody was in the building.
Okay.
Anyways, long story short, that experience with that security taught me that, hey, if I'm going to get into security, I probably need to do something that I believe I will have fun with, so that I don't really sleep at night. Because working night shift is tough, because I was working night shift with the security job, So then that's when I was like, okay, let me see if I can get into, I've heard something about data center. Let me see if I can get into data center security. Okay. So that's when I got my next opportunity, and that was at a data center. Yeah. Right? No, that wasn't at a data center. That was at a hospital.
Okay. So you guys can be smiling because I know the story to the T.
So that was at a hospital. Okay. Right? And I got
Was it at that hospital?
That hospital. That hospital that they had us go, and they didn't tell us that we were going to be lifting up dead bodies.
So let me say this. If you guys caught that, he just said that hospital that they let us go, that we were lifting up dead bodies. That means him and I. So let me give you guys a quick background. Some of you guys might not know this. Stein was actually the first person who got me into security, like not cybersecurity, but actually like security guard. And we used to be coworkers. Yeah. At can I say what?
Oh, yeah, you can say it.
Okay, at a cyber ward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
That was an interesting experience.
Yeah.
So if y'all see me smiling as he's talking, it's bringing back memories, you know what I mean? So yeah. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so basically the next opportunity was there. And of course you go there and you're thinking, oh, I was at a Microsoft building, and is this going to be kind of similar? Well, no, here you're going to be taking dead bodies to the morgue. Here, you're going to be dealing with people that are mentally challenged or having some mental challenges that you have to be there to keep the nurses on the floor safe and that kind of thing, in a situation where they needed assistance, that kind of thing. So we were in the hospital. We had to work in labs. Che and I worked there. Che will be on the floor, and I'll be in the office. And here we go. Hey, we have a situation. We need you upstairs. So we had all kinds of crazy moments. Right? We had moments where people got crazy to the extent that they stabbed nurses back with their injections. We had moments where some of these guys, hit officers' face and caused them to bleed. It was very, 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 very tough. It was real. We had to literally take down patients, Yeah. So, long story short, that's where it started from, right? It started from physical security, having to do physical work. Physical work, right? Yeah. But then you realize that sometimes you're putting your life on the line, and anything can happen to you. Yeah. We had a situation with an ex-convict was mistakenly brought onto the unit.
Was that?
You didn't know about it?
No.
You were there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, do we take it down? We had to call the cops?
No. So here's what happened. So he came in there and he was very, very, very gentle.
Okay.
But the nurses were kind of being a bit negative.
Yeah, so I kind of provoked him.
He was like, no, he didn't do anything. He was a black man and big and tall.
Say less.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but he was I'm not saying he's the nicest, but he was just minding his own business.
Yeah.
And he wasn't causing any problem.
Yeah.
But eventually they had to call the sheriff department and then they came and take him back out.
Yeah.
But he never caused any problem.
Yeah.
But what am I trying to say? We had situations where ex-convicts were brought to the floor, Mm-hmm. And of course our most memorable moment, the guy tears up the whole ceiling. You know what I'm trying to say?
I still have, thank God I was not on shift that day, but I still have the video on my phone.
That's crazy.
I think he had took like some kind of different kind of medications and tripped off and climbed the ceilings and cut himself, and like the whole floor just covered in blood.
Yeah.
That was scary. I remember so obviously we're doing overnights, right? And each time I would leave for work, generally scared.
Yeah.
Like shoot, like because I tell her these stories and she's like, wow, like what's do we really need this money right now?
Yeah. It's like,
and at the time we needed that money.
Yes, we need the money, but your life is also in danger. But not to stay off topic to your question. Physical security is what I got into. Outside of coaching, I was doing coaching, did physical security, and from there, that's when I had the data center opportunity.
Yeah.
So then it got me to see that we can be at a data center where we are seeing all these technical people come in and these IT guys come in and all that. So I started to fall more in love with that.
Yeah.
Because you just go and you sit in the office at a computer, and it just felt kind of a bit natural to me, and I didn't have to deal with this kind of situation that I had to deal with early on in my physical security career.
Yeah.
And so that really got me into that data center security. So from that opportunity, I got an opportunity to work for 2 data centers. Of course, the second data center changed its name and merged into a different company. So it's kind of like a third company, but really it's just 2 opportunities. And so I was in data center security. And for IT, everybody kept telling me. It started with you when you were back at the second company. You would always say, Stein, I'm taking classes with what are the Manassas guys,
Dr. IT, Slam Technology.
Slam Technology.
Shout out Slam Technology.
You know what I'm saying? So you would tell me about it, that you are taking classes with Slam, so I should do it. You would even tell me that, Stein, you try to motivate me with, hey, you try your very best. You like, Stein, even if you don't want to do it, I have a free account on Udemy. I can just give it to you. Wow. Just go on Udemy and just do it. You will tell me all these things. Like, none of you don't have to pay for every course. That's on the free courses on there. Just motivate yourself, inspire yourself. You would tell me all these things. And at the time, I just wasn't motivated to enter into IT. And then my late brother would always tell me, Abuaje, may his soul rest in peace. Yeah. He would always tell me, you have a technical background. You are doing the studio. You have all these technical equipment. All you got to do is add the technical knowledge to what you already do. You could literally be, instead of wasting time in the house doing this studio stuff that people are going to keep, sometimes you don't even get the right treatment from certain clients. You could be doing this and getting paid for. You could literally be at your house doing the same thing and getting paid for. Yeah. And he tried to motivate me, and then one of his close friends also tried to motivate me to fellow. I was getting motivation from all around because everybody's like, no, you're so technical that you just simply need to get into IT. Yeah. So I think that's to a point where my brother was really pushing hard. That he wanted to get me into like an IT school.
And a college?
Something like that college is in DC. I forgot the name a little bit. But at the time, he was just trying to find what I'm passionate about, what do I want to do. And he was trying to get me into software engineering at the time, at a school in DC. I just forgot the name of it, And I still didn't pursue that. Because for me personally, I just said to myself, yes, IT may be the thing. Yes, IT may be what everybody's talking about. But for me personally, I feel like I can still get on with my regular job and be fine. So the thing that got me into IT, right? It's kind of a lesson for myself, and also other people can use it as a lesson too. You have to be intentional about one thing. If you can't motivate yourself and you can't be intentional about it, you're not gonna do it. So what when I was coming today, I was like, if you were asking me this question, how I got into IT, one thing I will use to motivate your audience is to just have the mentality, just do it or just get started. Just do it or just get started.
Yeah.
Why am I saying that? Because look at how many advices I got. It's not that my mind is dead. It's not that I cannot learn. It's not that, no, but I just wasn't motivated about it. So just think about it when you want to work out. You know how sometimes if you haven't worked out for a while, it's hard for you to do it.
Yeah.
But then when you really feel that there is an urgency that I need to work out, you see how you motivate yourself to get it done?
Yeah.
It's just something like that. So when I saw an urgency that, man, Stein is not your own Stein anymore. I got a full wife coming to America. And this wife is going to come, and my living situation, I will not even know how that's going to go about. Because at this moment, I'm living with family.
So you're backwards against the wall.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, I can do this because all these people are talking about they went into IT and they're making better money. They're enjoying it. They don't have to work as much as we are doing this hard work. Imagine this hard work that we're doing for quints.
Yeah.
For quints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like literally the like 10% or 10 or 20% of what a good IT job is giving somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If we were to convert it into an hourly payment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I said, I cannot do this. I cannot do it this way. My wife is coming from Ghana and she's coming to the States. It's just not going to be a good look because once she comes here, I got to figure out where we are going to live. I got to move out. I got to figure all these things out. And it's going to be very, very, very tough for me to do this job that I know that I'm not going to be able to make it. The economy is rising. Things are just skyrocketing. I said, no, it's not going to happen. And those were during COVID times. And then COVID times was kind of the best time to get into IT because at that time, most people are doing like virtual. People are doing virtual interviews. Yeah. I remember you told me about you going to one of your interviews and how to stand in front of a panelist on the board. Yeah. And I'm like, well, damn, I don't got to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Take the pressure down.
Right. So I'm like, I remember Jake telling me, you going to an interview and yes, you don't know the thing, but you still going to go there and just try. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if they're saying this COVID times, everything is remote and virtual and all these things, why would I wait for this thing to relax and then now try and get into IT? No way. This is the best time for me to do it. Yeah. So I use that as a motivation also to motivate myself to do it at a time. And then, of course, my wife was one of the reasons why when I saw that, no, if I keep doing this, it's going to be a problem when she comes. Yeah. And then once I saw that COVID times is going to be a good time to get into it, But then one of the other motivations that my brother's friend used, and by the way, he's the person that I learned with. He has a company by the name of Pima Joy Tech. So that's why I learned my SOC from. And he was like, Stein, if you get into SOC, you're not going to get any job that will pay you any less than 120K.
Pause on that for a second. Because that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Coming from the coins that you were making, that we were making.
Let me tell you something sad here. So my mother, just imagine your mother making more money from you, the child who went to college. Doing nurse practitioner.
Are you saying that your mom was making more money than you?
Bro.
Wow.
My mom would always say stuff like, me as a mother, I'm working 2 jobs. You got to motivate yourself and get work. You're a young man. Work. work. You know, my mom would say things like that.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes it's not that people don't want to work, but it's like the kind of work schedule you're on doesn't favor you. We're talking about like people working on a 12-hour rotating schedules and stuff like that. What gap do you have to do other things?
So even if you wanted to enhance your quality of life, by the time you get home, you're tired from the other jobs.
Right. You're going to be tired from it, and it just doesn't make sense because really you're trying to do 2 full times.
Yeah.
And for you to do it, you need to have a perfect 8-hour Monday to Friday type of thing so you can maybe use the evening for something else.
You know, that's one thing that a lot of my followers struggle with. A lot of my followers, and even people I went to boot camp with, they are single mothers and they are going to work.
Yep.
And for them to take out even 5 hours, 2 hours, even 1 hour out their day to learn something new to enhance their quality of life, it's very tough.
Yep.
Being a single mother, having kids, and having to provide for them. I feel like it's very tough. So for you, what motivated you, what I'm hearing was, you know, your mother, right? Keep on, I don't want to say nagging, but kept on pushing you, and your wife coming to the States, right? What do you think was the biggest? Because I feel like you had motivation from all.
Yeah.
What was that motivation that was like, bang?
Right. And remember what I just said. Just do it. Right. I just said, I just made a statement that I want to make sure I get to the audience that they should just do it. Right. Because I realized that I had every skill it took. And then, look, it was so much. It's like, it was so much evidence that's why you just didn't get it right. Let me tell you another one. My elder sister, who studied nursing, now in IT. And her and her husband are both in IT. And they're both working from home. And then my elder sister calls me to her house to come and help her with her job task. And I'm not even in IT.
Got into IT.
Before I got into IT, simple Excel type stuff and SharePoint type stuff.
So you were in IT before you got into IT.
So this is what I wanted to say. Most people need to understand that you already have some technical basics. You getting an IT is you sharpening up those basics and getting the technical aspect of it to add to that to make it more of a fuller knowledge of whatever field you are going. And remember, IT is so broad. So if you're getting in there, one of the things that confuses you is like, where should I go? RMS, cyber, ISO, ISM, all kinds of things in IT. And you're like, what should I do? The key word is just do it. And let me tell you something. You're asking what motivated me to do it. You obviously see a lot of things motivated me, right? Yeah. A lot of things was just happening that I just couldn't miss it. I was still working comfortably. I just said to myself, I serve a living God. And to me, my Christian faith tells me I serve a living God. I'm working my job. I'm able to pay my basic rent, living with my family, paying my portion, and I'm fine. So when you get too comfortable, that is going to limit you from progressing. So that's what I'm saying. You got to come to a sense of urgency. So if you're too comfortable right now doing the 8-hour job and having to deal with that supervisor right now, and that doesn't, something is not hitting you to say, I cannot take it anymore, you still want to keep doing it, see, good for you. Working in a security, you know very well we got to deal with these kind of supervisors and all kinds of things. You know these people are going to piss us off here and there and that kind of thing.
So I always did.
They always did. They'll always find some way, shape, or form to get to you. You know what I'm saying? Having us do unnecessary assessments. Imagine we are not even in IT, but we are doing IT level assessments just because we work at the data center. I said to myself, you know what? Maybe I need to make that change. After all of these things were happening, I just said, maybe I just need to make that change. And then remember, I was also going from paycheck to paycheck. So that's not a challenge. You're going to get in there. That means you need to upgrade yourself. One of the things my brother left me off before he died, months before he died, he said, if you don't have value to you, you cannot really make it in the work industry because you are not the one to tell an employer what to do. I'm not going to go and tell an employer that what you did to me is wrong, so A, B, C.
Ooh, yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah.
And then also, if you're in the field where you are not valuable, they're not going to value you. So if I work at a Walmart and I'm a cashier, what the employer feels is they can easily go and get anybody who is just off the street that just needs some money and they'll be fine. Guess what? In my world right now, if you do not understand configurations, if you don't understand several computer languages, you cannot do it. That is adding value to what you do. So what am I trying to say? Add value to you so that it's hard to replace you. Ooh. Add value to you so it's hard to replace you. So in my field right now, I make sure that the physical attributes that I learned from physical security, I make sure that they can see it. What do I mean by that? There's a physical aspect to what I do. And that is me going to the data centers and doing cabling and all kinds of things. That is the physical side of what I do. So I make sure that they know that I'm always available to do those things for them. Yeah. I never tell them, no, Stein, can you go and check out some packages for us? Packaging is not about IT. I go to the data center and I do it. Stein, can you assist me with wiring a cable? I need assistance. I go there and I do it. Yeah. Stein, can you give a tour to this person? I go there and I do it. It's not IT related. But I make sure that all those physical things, I do it. Why? Because I want to make sure that they know that I'm very valuable to the company. So what am I trying to say? We add value to us so that we can be valuable and it will be hard for them to replace us. So what am I trying to say here? When my brother gave me that advice, I made sure to take that class to add value to me. Money was a problem. Yeah. Because I was living off paycheck to paycheck. And I was like, how am I going to get this money to do this? Even upon him giving me a discount, upon him giving me flexible pay, I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to have to be intentional about it. I was promised that I'll make at least 120K, nothing less than that. So that was in my mind. I was promised that when I get in the field, doors are going to begin to open. So I kept that in my mind. Long story short, I said something that if you're getting an IT and you don't know where you are going, just do it. So let's I took a chance and I just did it, right? Now, here is the catch here. I went and studied SOC. The SOC that I took was supposed to help me become a SOC analyst.
For people who don't know what SOC is, what is SOC?
Security operations. Okay. All right. In full security operations center. Yeah. But security operations. Now, I went to do SOC, and SOC is supposed to help you do SOC analysis, right? At least the one I did, right? And if you get into SOC, you're supposed to go SOC 1 or SOC Tier 1, SOC 2 or SOC Tier 2, SOC 3 or SOC Tier 3. Then, maybe if you are interested in engineering, you can go SOC Engineer 1, SOC Engineer 2, SOC Engineer Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Yeah. And then possibly a SOC lead, okay, which is normally the third levels, or a SOC manager or like a project manager. Gotcha. That's kind of the tiers. My first opportunity was not SOC analyst 1. It went straight to a SOC engineer Tier 3. So what am I trying to say here? That's not what I went to study. I went to study because we were not taught the engineering side. We were only taught like the cyber side and the analysis side and the investigation side and that kind of thing. So more for analysts. Okay. But what am I saying here? Just do it. Because when you just do it and you motivate yourself, once you get in there, you make it intentional, you are going to desire to know more.
Wait, walk me through, because that piqued my interest. Walk me through. Most people start their tech journeys as a help desk. That's how I started. Yeah. Right? How did you go from no legit tech experience? You had obviously tech experience, but you weren't working in that field, right? All the way to Tier 3.
Okay, so for me personally, this thing is just confidence, right? Confidence. Let me put it this way. Confidence is about, I wouldn't say 60 or 70% of the equation. Confidence. Why? When you get an interview, it's about your level of confidence of talking. Facts. So if you get an interview and you went to the best IT school, or you have all the experiences in the world, but you can't talk about it, what good does that make you?
I saw a meme that when you're in the interview stage, it's like a big lion that is like roaring at you, right? But then when you get into the job, it's like a puppy.
Yeah.
So usually they make the interviews harder than the job. So like you said, if you don't have confidence, you could know everything, but if you can't articulate, if you don't have confidence.
You gotta have confidence, and you gotta know what you're talking about. Because in this field, if you don't have confidence, you just can't do it. You know, so you can't just go into an interview unprepared. You know, and lack of preparation. Your pastor, I'm not gonna say anything, but your pastor used to always say something whenever I visited your church. Lack of preparation is a sign of a failure. That's something that he always used to say.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're in IT or you're getting IT, you don't like preparing yourself. You just want to show up there miraculously something will happen to you. It's not gonna happen that way. It's not gonna happen that way. You need to prepare yourself. You need to be intentional about things, and you need to have a lot of confidence, because, like you said, they are going to try to intimidate you, right? Because they want to make sure that they can trust you. And remember, this is remote days that they are doing virtual interviews. They want to make sure they're bringing the right candidate.
Yeah.
They want to make sure they're bringing the best candidate for the job. They want to make sure you really know what you're doing. And one of the things is, when I got my opportunities, remember, I was not only getting I was not really getting cyber opportunities. I was also getting systems. I was getting things on Python, even to the web development and all that was coming. But guess what? I got some of those interviews, and I thought I could use my SOC knowledge to talk to them. And guess what?
It's not gonna work.
They were asking me questions that I did not even know what they were saying, but I was still answering them.
Yeah.
But what am I saying? Sometimes you're going to look like a dummy in front of those people, but it's by your confidence. So even with some of them, it wasn't the best interview. To me, I felt like, I said something, but they knew that was a lot of crap that you were giving them.
Let me tell you. I want to ask you a question. Let me ask you this question, and then I'll give you a story before you answer the question. So I guess the question is, I want you to tell me about the worst interview you had, right? Like the interview that you just bombed. But let me tell you mine first. One of the worst interviews I had, I think I was applying for, I don't know, it was the beginning stages. And I went in unprepared. And I think it was like a help desk role. And so they will ask you, just, simple questions here and there about just networking. And I remember vividly that they asked you a question and I couldn't answer it. And I cut off. It was a phone call and I cut off.
Mm-hmm.
And I Googled the answer. I got the answer within like a couple seconds, and I called them back. I was like, "Hey, I'm not too sure what happened."
Yeah.
So I went in unprepared. Now, till date, that's like my worst interview. Like, it was bad when you have to cut off the interview. Like, that was bad. So, like, what is the worst interview that you've ever had?
So for me personally, just like with the type of personality I am and that kind of thing, I have a lot of confidence. Yeah. So for me personally, because I took a chance in the field and I made sure that something must come out of it, I was intentional about it and that kind of thing. I had an expectation. I didn't care about the bad interviews and that kind of thing. So I went to every interview with confidence.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Right? So I'm not saying that I did well on every interview, but I was confident enough to answer whatever question. And then questions that I don't know, hey, I don't know about that, but this, stuff like that. So I was like that. But if I was to say, the worst interview that I would say is me getting an interview for something more towards web development, like I was saying. And that's kind of why I use that as an example, because so I took a chance in IT, not limiting myself. What do I mean by that? I learned SOC analyst. I'm not going to just search for SOC analyst jobs because I want to get in there. So I was looking up help desk, even though help desk was unrelated to SOC.
So you were just trying to get in?
I was just trying to get in. I was looking at SOC analyst, help desk, SOC engineer, which is something that not every SOC analyst want to do, or something that new beginners want to do. Yeah. They don't want to take a chance on doing something that they're not comfortable about. I was very confident that with that information that I took, I could manipulate it and use it to get into the field. And I think that was one of the questions that you asked. I know we ran away from the question, but yeah, you with that information, you can add on to that knowledge by researching, doing additional studies, and be able to get into any field that you want. Yeah. So even with the job that I got, right, I was very honest with them and told them I have a soft background. This is what I do, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And they said, because of this knowledge, we will give you a chance.
You know what I find interesting? You having all the motivation around you and you not going for it, and fast forward later on, like you're just going for it.
Yep. Yeah. I think at that time you were loaded.
I gotta go. I like that. So let me ask you this
before you ask your question.
Okay.
I will say that because I had expectations, my first job was not where I wanted. That was where I wanted to be, but quicker. Right. So my first job was tier 3, engineer.
Yeah.
Instead of me going up the ladder, I went straight there. That's one testimony. Then the other one is, remember, I was sold that you are not going to make no less than what?
120.
And guess what? My first job, I made that exact money. And more. 123.
First job. Crazy. How did you fit?
And then guess what? Remember I was saying my mom was making more than me. That was I'm going to be very honest about that. I wasn't even making 50K. I never made 50K per year whenever I put my stuff together.
Wow.
And my mom was making close to, that out of 60. And it's sad. And it's not our fault. It's because the system is in a way that we are just so less privileged. But if you find out the formula, go for it. Just think about it. You got in. We were both there. You were trying to get me out. But regardless, I still kept staying.
Are you saying that even though the system is hard for people that look like you and I, you can still make it?
You can very much make it. You can very much make it. You gotta be intentional about it, and you gotta make sure that when you get there, your presence is felt.
Like, what's one thing that you will say to somebody that was like you, right? That have all the motivation around them, or don't even have motivation around them, and they just feel stuck in their rat race of just going to do a 9 to 5 that they hate, and they feel like they might not even have all that tech background that you had. What is one thing that you would tell them to help motivate them to just start?
One thing that I would tell anybody that is trying to get into the tech field, even if you don't know anything, even if you have not taken a class, even if you do not have any source of information, one thing that I will tell you is that look at your present right now and ask yourself what is going good right now. Look at your present condition right now and ask yourself what is going good right now. And then look at the future and ask yourself, is it going to get any better? If I'm to stay here. Is it going to get any better if I'm to stay here? If that answer to you is, no, this is not going to help me, then that is a sign that you really need to upgrade. And I think to the advice that my late brother gave me, I will give that advice to anybody that wants to get into the field, that what you have in here is your power. So nobody's going to have access to it. You forever going to have it. And so one thing you need to do is you need to add value to yourself so that you make yourself more vulnerable. Don't put yourself in a situation where somebody's going to determine your fate or your destiny, right? But put yourself in a place where it's hard for them to get rid of you. The only thing that can get rid of you is you messing up on your job. That's it. Right now, the only thing that can get rid of me in my opportunity is for a contract situation to happen, or for me to go and do a misconfiguration that breaks the network. That's it.
Yeah.
But if I'm in that field, why would I want to break a network and not know the things that I need to do to make sure that implementations are done the right way, and whatever we need to do on the network, whether it's migration, whatever it is, right? Whatever we need to do, patching, whatever it is done the right way. So when you do your work the right way, with diligence, with modesty, you're always going to be respected.
Whew. Bro, you've shared a lot of gems, yo. I'm just I don't feel like I've even asked you any question I had on here because you took it and just ran with it, and I really hope that you guys were able to catch not just one, not just two, not just three. Y'all were able to catch a lot of gems because this is the reason why I'm doing this podcast to bring people on who I see are killing it in the industry and people that I know personally. And if y'all don't get no kind of like gem from here, just know that just like you said, your mind. What do you say? Your mind is.
I mean, knowledge is power.
Knowledge is
but add value.
add value.
Value.
That was it. And that's one thing I'm taking out from this interview. Like I have this right here, right? But how can I add value to that? How can I make myself irreplaceable? No. Like you've.
Let me give you a scenario.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power. So you've always had the knowledge of the things you can do. But in your workplace, on paper, this is what they know you can do. When the problem comes, knowledge is power. And you target that. They don't know what you are bringing to them. And that is going to be opportunity. So there's a spiritual aspect to this too. God has to put you in the right position for you to apply that knowledge. You see that? And then when you apply that knowledge to a situation and that God is setting up for you, you will see God also bring elevation and blessings.
That's the idea of when preparation meets opportunity, it sparks.
Yes, sir.
Bro, this has been an amazing interview. Like, I feel like we have to do a part 2 because this has been like mind busting, yo. Like mind busting. I just want to appreciate you for like just one honoring this invitation to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel privileged because I know you in real life, and I can always, and I do. We always talk. This is stuff that we always talk about, and so for you to come on here and share these gems with the people watching, it means a lot to me, and I know that it means a lot to my audience as well. And so I just want to appreciate you and thank you. Where can they find you? Where can they, you have an Instagram, LinkedIn, like where can they find you in case they want to keep on getting plugged into it?
Yeah, so my legal name is Einstein, but for social media, you just use Stein for short, Stein.
Okay.
So if you look up Stein, KB Owusu, you should be able to find me on Facebook. And most of my platforms, I just use the business name. When I say business, I'm talking about my multimedia. I do recording studio, graphic design, and website, development, that kind of thing. And you can look up L for C Multi, L, the number 4C Multi, MULTI. If you can look that up, you're gonna find me on YouTube. You're gonna find me on Facebook also. You can also find me on Instagram, also with FLC Multi. So those are the platforms that I'm kind of, active on.
Yeah.
Not as active on TikTok,
Okay.
but hey.
TikTok is where it's at now, man. People doing TikTok
people are there, but I've just not been a fan of it. And of course, for national security reasons, I never really got into it early because of a couple of things that I knew and that kind of thing. But I've still decided to just have it, just because people keep bugging me with, checking out their stuff on that. So you got to kind of have an account to be able to see things. So
okay. Yo, I appreciate you for being on here. If you guys want to see a part 2 or like a second take of all these gems, because I know Einstein and I know he has a lot more to share with you guys. Comment like something. I don't know. Comments. Yes, have him back or something like that. I don't know. But regardless of the comment, I will be having you back on here because I know that there's so much that we have to dissect. And I would love to, for the next episode or for the next time I have you on this podcast, I would love to dissect more and into like your personal like background. Not background, but I want to dissect more into your career.
Professional background,
right? Bro, thanks a lot, man. This has been great.
Yep, thank you, man, for having me, man.
Guys,
yep,
yes, sir.
It's been real.
Yes, sir. We out.
All right.